friends at home. Today we're going to be doing Math Journal, page 37. So go ahead and get your Math Journal out and have it open to 37. And we're going to be using this page, page 342, to do some cutting and pasting in our Math Journal. But before we cut this up, I really want to go over the model and draw again, because I know looking at this whole thing, it looks kind of scary and it doesn't look like it makes a lot of sense. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at this step by step. You'll notice that there's step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4. Okay. First off, we are subtracting with regrouping. Now, the prefix re means again. So basically, we are grouping again. And that's why it is called regrouping. We have to change some grouping situations. We're looking at the problem here that is 42 subtract 15. So I'm going to write that over here. Okay. Now, if you'll notice here on step 1, it says, step 1, are there enough ones to subtract 5? Well, first off, we have to put the minuend, which is the 42, that first number, we need to put 42 in our mat, like they did here. So I'm going to do that. So there are my 4 tens and 2 ones. So I have 42. So basically in step 1, it says, are there enough ones to subtract 5? So I always look at my ones column. Can I do 2 subtract 5? I can't. When I have more on the floor, I have to go next door. So that's what they're saying here. They're saying basically, is there more on the floor? In this case, there is. Yes, there is more on the floor. So I've got to go next door. My 5 is on the floor. And I can't do, if I have 2 things, I can't take 5 ones out of here. I have to regroup. So when I regroup, I have to take a 10. I have to go next door to this number right here. And I need to take my 10 and I need to break it into ones. Okay, so all I did is I took 110 and I broke it into ones. So over here, what we did is we took a 10. So now I don't have 4 tens in here anymore. I have how many tens in here now?
3.
I have 3. And I broke it into ones. And now I've got to add my 10, my new 10, to the 2 that are already in there. What is 2 plus 10? 12. Okay. That is regrouping. All right. That's what they did right here. So we said, okay, is there more on the floor in the ones? Yes. Then I've got to hit the diagonal and go next door. So I now have 3 tens. My 4 tens becomes 3 tens. I take it and break it apart. And now I don't have 12, or now I don't have 2 ones in there, I have 12. Okay, so that's what we did. Now, step 3, now we can do our subtracting. We can subtract the ones. So I have 12 ones in here. What is 12? Take away 5. So if I take away 5 ones, I am left with how many? 7. Now I move to my tens. I have 3 tens in here. I take away 1. 1 10. How many tens are left in here? 2. So my difference here is 27. Okay, 27. So that's what we do. If I have more on the floor, I have to hit the diagonal and go next door. Subtract a 10 here, add 10 here, and then I can subtract. When we're regrouping, we always start with our ones. Always, always, always. When we're using the regrouping strategy, we have to start with our ones. Okay. I'm going to move this aside. And so if you see, that's what was done here. We have more on the floor. So you're going to take your yellow crayon, I think my yellow crayon rolled away. Oh, they're telling me it's under here. No. Okay, come show me. Oh, okay. Oh, yep. All right, thanks for your help. Yep, they're really good at helping me when things roll away. All right, so let's look at this again closely. Okay, I look at what I need to subtract. I look at the ones. Is there more on the floor? Yes. So highlight that. I can't do it. I can't do 2 subtract 5. There's more on the floor. I've got to hit the diagonal and go next door. I subtract a 10 here and I add 10 to this number. That's what they did here. I subtract a 10 here and I added 10 to this number. Now I can subtract the ones. I go back to the ones and I subtract. 12 subtract 5 is 7. 3 subtract 1 is, that was step 4. We subtracted the tens. 3 subtract 1 is 2 tens. So this breaks it apart into the 4 steps. I like to change step 1 though to, if there's more on the floor, you've got to hit the diagonal and go next door. So what we're going to do is we're going to trim this up. Again, this is page 342. So it's going to fit in our journal. I'm going to trim this off, but I'm not going to cut off any of the numbers or the letters. I'm going to use this top part. And I'm going to trim the side. You don't need the model and draw. That can go. And I'm going to trim here. I'm not going to cut off the word subtract here. I'm just going to trim close to it. And trim around. I'm using round corners. They seem to glue in better to your journal. Okay. So set this aside. Actually, let's do a quick test and see if it'll fit. And this one's going to be kind of tight. In fact, I'm going to try to trim mine down even a tad bit more, but without cutting off any of those letters or numbers. I had to get really close to that subtract. So I'm going to try to trim without cutting off. The 4 steps to subtraction with regrouping. Okay, again, this is page 37. This is page 37. Make sure you've got your 37 there. And this is our second strategy we're talking about. We talked about the break apart strategy before, but our second strategy, I'm going to put it over here next to the margins so that I don't run out of room. And this is subtraction with regrouping. Okay. So let's write regrouping in subtraction. And remember the prefix. The prefix re means again. I think we talked about that when we did addition, right? Okay. So regrouping means again. So we're grouping again. That's our second strategy. Now, I'm going to take this, and we're going to glue that right in. Then I'm going to draw an arrow because this is important. This first step, remember, what is the first thing we need to ask ourselves? You must regroup when you have more on the floor in the ones column. Okay. You must regroup when you have more on the floor in the ones column. So remember, if there's more on the floor, you've got to go next door. If there's more on the floor, you've got to go next door. And we don't have room to write that on this page, but we're going to write it over here. And it's not going to fit on this video, so you're going to have to write it yourself, okay? When there's more on the floor, you've got to go next door. So write that here. Have a good day.